Daniel Brooks never paid much attention to mail. Most of it was bills, junk ads, or those oddly aggressive pre-approved credit card offers. But when he found the ivory envelope on his doorstep, something about it made him pause. There was no stamp, no return address. His name was written in elegant, looping script, except it wasn't his name. It read, Adam Turner. Daniel turned the envelope over in his hands. The paper felt old, thicker than usual, with a slightly waxy texture. He wasn't Adam Turner. He had never known anyone by that name. Curiosity got the better of him. He tore the envelope open. Inside was a single card, an invitation embossed in gold foil. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Charlotte Hayes and Benjamin Turner. Date, October 12, 2014. Daniel frowned. That was impossible. The current date was October 7, 2025. The invitation was over a decade old. He sat on his couch, staring at the invitation. Was this some elaborate prank? A mistake? Maybe someone had slipped it into his mailbox by accident. He pulled out his phone and searched for Charlotte Hayes and Benjamin Turner wedding. His blood turned cold when an article popped up from a local news site. The headline read, Mysterious Wedding Crasher Vanishes Without a Trace. October 12, 2014. He clicked on the article. The story described how an unknown man had attended the wedding, sitting silently in the back row. No one had seen him arrive. No one remembered him leaving. But in every photograph taken that day, the man was there, his face partially obscured or blurred, like the camera had struggled to capture him properly. Daniel scrolled further down. His stomach twisted into knots when he saw a zoomed-in, grainy photo. The man's face was eerily familiar. The sharp jawline, the dark hair, the way he sat slightly hunched. It looked exactly like him. His first instinct was to dismiss it. Maybe it was someone who just resembled him. Maybe the lighting and poor image quality were playing tricks on his mind. But deep down, something felt wrong. His pulse quickened. If this was a joke, it was a disturbingly specific one. He flipped the invitation over, looking for more clues, but the back was blank except for a single line in the same elegant handwriting. See you soon, Adam. The name gnawed at him. Adam Turner. It meant nothing to him. At least, he thought it didn't. But the way the words looked on the page made his head ache. He rubbed his temples and forced himself to think logically. He could ignore the invitation. It wasn't his name. It wasn't his business. And yet, he knew he wouldn't be able to sleep until he got some kind of answer. That night, Daniel couldn't shake the eerie feeling crawling under his skin. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in his mind. At some point, exhaustion won, pulling him into a restless sleep. His dreams were a fragmented mess of unfamiliar places, candlelit halls, and a woman in a white dress whispering his name, not Daniel, but Adam. The next morning, he did something he knew was stupid. He checked the address on the invitation and searched it on Google Maps. It led to a quiet estate on the outskirts of town. The property was still standing, but when he clicked on the most recent street view, the house looked abandoned. The windows were dark. The once pristine lawn was overgrown. The wedding had taken place here, but now, it was as if the place had been forgotten. A sane person would have stopped there. A sane person would have thrown the invitation away and moved on. But Daniel wasn't sure he had ever been sane to begin with. On October 12th, the exact date printed on the invitation, he drove out to the estate. He wasn't expecting anything. Maybe he'd find an empty house and feel foolish for ever entertaining the thought. Maybe it would give him closure. But as he pulled onto the long, winding driveway, his heart pounded. The house wasn't abandoned. The front lawn was perfectly trimmed. Warm lights glowed from the windows. And outside, guests in elegant attire were stepping out of cars, laughing, talking, completely unaware that this wedding had supposedly happened over a decade ago. Daniel parked at a distance, gripping the steering wheel. This was impossible. He watched as a woman in a white gown stepped onto the porch, her veil fluttering in the breeze. It was Charlotte Hayes. She looked exactly like her photos, and changed, as if time had never touched her. His hands trembled as he reached for the invitation again. His name was no longer written as Adam Turner. This time, it simply said, "You're late." Something deep in his memory cracked open. A flash of laughter, the weight of a ring on his hand, the scent of roses in the air. He knew this place. He knew these people. He had been here before, not as Daniel Brooks, but as Adam Turner, and he had never left.